What's up, everyone? Thank you for listening to another episode of the Sawyer Brothers Show. Please be sure to follow and subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and then follow our podcast accounts and SDI accounts on all socials. We post daily on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. We appreciate the support and listens greatly. On today's episode, I speak with Dean Therriault. Dean is the owner of PDD Hockey, officially known as Purpose Driven Development Hockey, and he's also an assistant coach for the Little Caesars U15 AAA team. He's a very motivated young coach, and his passion for coaching was evident during our conversation. With the way we both started coaching at a young age, we can relate on a lot of the experiences of being a young coach. I had a great time talking with him, and I hope you enjoy. All right, Dean, how you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's this lineup of jerseys you got behind you? You got a whole mix of
So
stuff. What's that?
This is my brother's room. He's got a pretty good setup, but so that's one of my jerseys from when I played at Grosse Pointe South. His junior Preds, Montreal jersey that we've had, and then Team Canada, and then he's got a Western Michigan jersey as well, and then the other South jersey.
Very
So
nice.
Canada, we're 50-50. So my dad's Canadian. He went to Western Michigan last year with everything college hockey. Got that there. Raised Habs fans just because that's our dad again.
Yeah.
Preds, he played there his 16-year year, and then he played 2 years at Grosse Pointe South. I played 4. So
Why so he was 53 as well?
so the year after I left, he took
He
53.
took 53. Okay.
He was a freshman when I was a senior.
That's what I thought.
So we got
Okay.
to play 1 year together.
So what is the significance of 53? Because that's something I remember at the time, and I obviously with seeing pictures. So where'd you get 53?
So it was the smallest jersey they had. So I was a freshman, and the other kid that it came down to was a sophomore. So like freshman got the last pick of jersey number, obviously, and I didn't hate it. I had been like wanting 29 very weirdly. Like William Nylander it was his second year in the league, and he had
Mm-hmm.
just swapped over. I'm not sure why, but I was dead set on 29. Ended up just having a list to pick from, and 53 was the smallest jersey, so that
Nice.
it just happened to work out best for me.
That's nice. That's cool. It's just it's a number you don't see often. So I was like immediately
Right.
I was like I added that to my list. So
Yeah.
give us that's a good background just as far as like jerseys behind it, kind of tell a little bit about yourself, but give us like a couple minute overview of your whole career. Don't get into every detail and everything, but just give us the overview here.
Right. So I grew up. Well, my first time playing hockey, like at I don't it 10 bits, mini mite, whatever you want to call it. I was like crying the whole time and wanted my dad to take me off the ice, and like just cried and cried and cried when I got there on the ice the whole time. And my dad made me like stay and just finish it, and talked about it after. And I mean, I probably was still crying after, but I went again the next week and I didn't cry. And so that was at St. Clair Shores, and I literally played there until my freshman year of high school. So I played for the Saints from mini mite through 16U,
Yeah. And this was
which
you're an '02 birth year, right?
yes, 2002. So played there for 10 plus years. That was home. I mean, the amount of hours I spent in that rink, and just kind of, there wasn't a workout room when we were mites or even squirts, maybe, but just the evolution of the rink. Dale Buss, I don't know if that name rings a bell. Like he had a massive influence on not only one of my coaches, but the organization too. He had a couple national championship teams too, I'm pretty
Mm,
sure. So like he passed away while I was playing there, and there was a big funeral for him there. So just like a couple
mm,
of, storybook sort of moments, I guess there. Like we played a
sure.
state championship tournament there, but my last full year on the team, we won a district championship, which we had never done
Mm-hmm.
prior. And it was a really good feeling because District 6 was always loaded, or District 3,
Yep.
whatever we're in. It was like us, Troy, OJG, Ice Hawks, and we were all top 20 teams in the country.
Oh yeah.
And it was just a gauntlet. And then like you would probably get a bid to states, one of the other teams,
Mm-hmm.
but even if you're in states, there was 4 or 5 other good teams and
Yeah.
2 teams sitting at home that could be there too.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
it was a good feeling to win that. But other than
So
that,
you that would have been your what, Bantam A year?
that was our last year before 16U. So like
Gotcha.
your 14U year, right?
Gotcha.
Because the next year I would have been 15 playing 16s
Mm-hmm.
and decided to go play high school.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I went to Grosse Pointe South for 4 years, 2017 to 2021. So I was there during COVID and all that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I had literally never ever wanted to thought of playing high school hockey. I always wanted to just play travel, and like the plan was to go play AAA my 16 year, like my actual like that following year.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up at South, and it was great. It was honestly like the best 4 years of hockey I've had. I mean, the wins and losses, not real like my junior year made up for it all. Like that was
Sure.
the most fun I've ever had playing hockey in a year. Obviously it helps when you're winning, but
Mm-hmm.
junior year we totaled more wins than we did my freshman and sophomore year combined.
Gotcha. And
So
that was the
it
team that the 1920 team that would have been?
yes.
Gotcha. Yeah,
That
so that's the
was
team I
it.
remember as well.
Yeah, so that was like a culmination of like 10 to 12 guys, 5 to 8 guys looking around a locker room like for 2 years straight, like, okay, let's just keep eating it. Like, it's going to come. Like, it's just part of it. And we got to junior year, and it was literally everything it could have been and more. Um, we had a new coach come in, Paul Moretz. He was, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
one of, if not the best coaches I've ever played for, on and off the ice. Like there was a lot of cultural things that he implemented that our previous coach didn't, which it's high school hockey. Like some
Sure.
people don't think culture is important. Like I'm not here to say what's important or what's not, but like it it does a lot for a group of kids who aren't the same age, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you have freshmen like my brother who literally has not much accountability. There's not much responsibility. He's a week into classes as a freshman and doesn't really know, you know, the ropes well compared to a
Sure.
senior. Like having that sort of accountability throughout, that sort of leadership from the top down, it wasn't something that was taught my freshman and sophomore year. So
Mm-hmm.
it was pretty nice to have that. But, the talent we had too, like I don't think it's easy to coach, but obviously, when you have a roster that's set up to win in most cases, it makes your job a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure. No, that was a solid team. Like I was an assistant with Gabriel Richard at the time. That was my first year with them, and
Okay.
I remember we got, I think we lost 5-1 to you guys, and it wasn't even close. Like we played at your place, and actually, like the reason I remember that day specifically was because we drove to Fraser, and
Oh
we
yeah,
got off
I
the
remember.
we got off the bus, and we it was a Saturday afternoon. We got off the bus, and we, like, all the guys had their bags up here lined up in the lobby, and like there was like nothing happening, and which is weird because it was Frasier's. So there's 5 sheets, and like
Right.
we're looking at the TV, and there's nothing coming up showing like Grosse Pointe South or our locker room or anything. So we're looking at, and our coach had to pull back up emails from when he set it up with your coach and look back at it, and we're like, oh, we're at the wrong arena. So we went to East Side, and there was something else with like The
Yeah.
time we had was wrong too, so we sat there for like 3 hours waiting,
Yeah.
and finally we played. So I don't think that helped, but regardless, you
Yeah.
guys probably would have gave it to us that night.
Well, Gabriel Richard always had a good team. I feel like we didn't play against each other every year, but I want to say 2 of 4 years we played, and you guys were always good. There was some big football players. That was
Yep,
the thing. We'd be like, "God,
always.
those guys!" Like it was
Yep.
brutal, but
Yeah,
that was part of it. Like I'm a big advocate for high school hockey because you're playing and practicing against bigger and faster and stronger kids every day. There's
right.
no other place you get that. Like
For sure.
that's why you can't go from high school or AAA to pro. You
Mhm.
go to junior and then you go to college, or not. I'm sorry, not to pro, to college, right? You go.
Mhm.
Nobody goes from travel
Yep.
to college, right? Like that step. And no, high school. I'm not referring high school hockey to like a developmental path, but I just I advocate if you're gonna, depending on the situation
Mhm.
and depending on the high school as well, like there's a lot of benefits to the structure and the true development and as a human, not just
Absolutely.
as a player.
Totally agree. Totally agree. So you're give us an idea of what you're currently doing. I know that you're involved with coaching and all that stuff. So give us a breakdown of what you're currently up to in life.
Yeah, so I help coach the 2010 Little Caesars team with Ryan Kessler, Alex Tangay, Brian Sippets, Kevin Moore, and Chris Connor. It's been a great experience so far. It's everything I want in like a coaching experience. The opportunity is incredible. Like I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity, and it's it's been more than I thought it would be, and that's perfect because I really can't get enough hockey. So
Mhm.
it's been awesome. And then in the summer, and even still sporadically, I'll have stuff for my development business in purpose driven development. So with that, we have weekly skates throughout the summer. At least one camp throughout the summer too. Like this year, we had 8 kids in from Nashville, where when my brother played with them, that are still playing juniors, USHL, NOL, NCDC. Um, so usually a junior in college, like development camp, and then a younger high school or travel camp as well, if we can. So that
Awesome.
was good. And I started PDD my sophomore year of college, uh, basically just to give myself a job. Like I had
Mhm.
worked the previous couple summers at Vilatel as a porter, car porter. One of my best friend's dads helped us out there. Um, and then yeah, I love hockey. Like it was freshman year of college at Michigan State, not having hockey anymore. It was really weird. Like
Mhm.
I playing high school hockey was almost the same as travel. It was a little bit more, but like my Saints team practice, we skated 5 times a week, whether it was three
Mhm.
games or 2 games and 3 practices or whatever. But like going from that to literally never, like ever, it was
Right.
really weird. Like, and you go through the summer, and obviously, like I would still skate throughout the summer, even after I graduated here and there.
Mhm.
But like hockey's starting, my brother's going to the rink, I'm sitting in my dorm. Like it's not. It was just different, and I think like a full year of that really like sat with me, and I was just like, why not try it? Like my brother's going into that was the next year, I guess. Then the following spring is when I started PDD.
Mhm.
Oh, like freshman year was sophomore year, I like knocked on the doors of one like multiple times and had conversations with just people that I could, trying to get an
Mhm.
opportunity and to set up tables for team meals, like literally whatever it needed to be.
Wow.
Did it again junior year and just kind of got connected through one of my brother's teammates in Nashville. His dad helped me get connected with Brad Fast, and all through junior year we kind of kept in touch, just if they needed anything. And senior year, like I reached out again. I'm like, whatever it is, like I would love to help. I'm a senior, like I really would love to be like involved and add value any way that I can. And he was awesome and helped me find something, and I helped do video. It was, an awesome experience. Just I didn't play college hockey, like I didn't play at the next level, so getting that behind the scenes sort of experience of what it's all like. And like I watched practice for 2 years straight and,
Sure.
was extremely impressed with that aspect of it, but like the behind the scenes, all that goes into it, the resources, the just everything. Like it's incredible, the mentality, like all of it. It's something that not many people are able to experience either, right? So just having
For
that
sure.
experience is helpful, especially considering I didn't play.
Yeah.
So um it was awesome. Like it's got to be one of, if not the best staffs in college hockey. The
Oh yeah.
recruiting's incredible. The resources the players have are incredible. Developmental aspect of it is second to none. So I have nothing but, good things to say on that. And honestly, my 4 year experience at Michigan State, it got better as it went on, but like senior year was the best year simply because of that experience. That made my entire experience at Michigan State like a plus rather than maybe like a negative prior.
Wow. Awesome. So how did you end up getting to with this Little Caesars team this year?
So as when I started PDD, I reached out to Matt Larkey. He is someone that I worked with growing up through Craig Firstenow. When I started PDD, just to bounce ideas off of him, get tips, drills, just any sort of help that I could. Um, and we kind of just went back and forth over the years a couple times, and then I had texted him or contacted him earlier in the summer just to see if there was any opportunity for me. Like I had my PDD stuff, but just to see if he was doing any skates or needed help with anything, push pucks, whatever it might have been. There was a camp. Osterman had a camp, and I'm not sure the date. Larky had reached out just randomly, and it was actually I had a text to him that he didn't respond to or just didn't see. Whatever happened. That's a big part of the learning process too that I've kind of had with everything. But he just reached out and told me there was an opportunity to shadow him, and I was like, yeah, absolutely, I'm there. So I went. It was me, him, and Ryan Kessler, and I got to meet Ryan and basically told him what I was doing, where I like was at. Kind of, I had just graduated. Told him I have been doing PDD for however long, looking to get into coaching. Have reached out to multiple people already, just in push pucks for them, whatever it might be. He His brother so happened to not be coaching this year. Like they knew he was leaving, so they were looking for a coach as is, and it just it worked out perfect. He asked the coaches, went back to them, talked to them, and then the following Monday I reached out and was just like, "Hey, like, I'd love to talk more." And he's like, "Yeah, you're in." So it's
Awesome.
it's been amazing, and it was just right place, right time.
So what is that? What is your current role with that team? Obviously, that team, for those that don't know, is loaded. National champions 2 years ago as 13s and 14s, lost in the final of nationals, and one of the best teams for that birth year, like the whole time. So, what is your role with this team?
So Ryan's the head coach. I maybe I'm an assistant or just one of the other coaches. My biggest role is video and more so work with the forwards, but I guess that's more of like an in-game thing. I'll still talk to the D and, pat them on the back when they do good stuff and whatnot, but more of a forward focus. Um, Skill development too, like there's a lot of that, but that comes with the video, right? So whether it's showing them their own film, whether it's showing them film from practice, whether it's showing them NHL film or examples of what we're looking for, or trying to accomplish doing certain drills, like really getting them to understand why it's important and why we're doing it. Like that is kind of a full, I guess, look at it. Like it's a lot of video, player development, and assistant coaching, I guess you could say.
How do you handle working with this team, which, no disrespect to you, but they're like probably better than you, like
Oh,
already?
for sure.
Like, I
So
mean,
for
these
sure, they
kids are,
all they
it's a
all are
totally
better
different thing.
than, yeah. These kids are all better than I ever was, even at 18, at 20, right now. Like they were
Hmm.
probably better than me 2 years ago. Maybe not
Hmm.
2 years ago, maybe one. But uh, it was a bit intimidating at first, and I think that's how it would go anywhere. Like if you're stepping in this a newer position, like people don't know you,
Hmm.
so you don't have to earn their respect in a sense, but you, you have to be open and able and willing to establish relationships with them. And that was my biggest thing. Like we skated 3 times before training camp, and I had made connections and talked to kids, but training camp was big. Like really being on the ice a ton, filling in for certain guys, like just getting reps and, chirping at each other, meals, like just all of it. So
Hmm.
that was a huge help to getting a little more comfortable with it all. But it's a great group of kids. Like when it comes to manners or, their attitude, like it's incredible. Like you would honestly expect, arrogance and a bunch of it's not. It's not. They show up
Sure.
every day wanting to work. Like they're obsessed with the game. There's
Hmm.
nothing matters more, and it, they love being there. And that's it's not easy, but that makes it a lot easier, right? When you have a group of kids like that shows up every day wanting to get better, you know, it makes your job easier because they're interested in what you're showing them, whether it's good or bad. They know it's in their best interest.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like the perfect example of that from that team is Griffin Carver. So Griffin Carver, his older brother Cam, I coached him when I was like my third year coaching. So it was back in like 2017. I took over the 2004 Trenton team that Cam was on, and then
Okay.
shortly after that, Cam, his younger brother Evan, and then of course the youngest Griffin. Griffin was what, like 6, 7 at the time. All three of them did our summer programs through SDI for years to this day. So, if we look at a family who has like been on the ice with us, the three of them have been on the ice more than anyone else combined. So, um,
Yeah.
Griffin is obviously a whole other level, and watching his progression from afar on that team has been very fun. Normally every season I'll go and watch a game or two in person, and then I watch a lot of hockey online for
Hmm.
highlights like of all different levels. So on that type of thing, but he's someone that fits all that, like you said. I mean, loves hockey and just respectful, well mannered, and that comes from his family. But that's all.
Yeah.
It's good to hear that that's across that whole team.
Oh yeah, and he's the captain. It's perfectly fitting. Like
Hmm.
uh, he's a great hockey player, so good, but he's such a better human being. He's mature, be like uh, all of them. You wouldn't guess they're 15 if you just met them out in public. Like they're mature, they're respectful. Like it's really impressive because it's easy to get arrogant and disrespectful and egotistical when they're as successful as they are, right? And they're
Hmm.
15. They haven't had the same life experiences. They're not as old. They're not as mature, etc. But they handle it Like it's, just normal business, everyday life. Like it's
Sure.
awesome.
So you're obviously with this team right now, and developing yourself as well. You're at a point where this is not the end thing. Like, you've been coaching for a few years, and you're super young. You're one of the guys similar to me that started coaching when you are very young. What is your like long term goal or plan? Like, do you want to coach full time, or what's that situation for you?
Yeah, so I want to coach in the NHL. Like that's the end goal for me. And like I say that confident, knowing like I love coaching. It might be general manager, it might be assistant general manager. Like I've played NHL since 2007, call it, when I was 5, let's say. And
Mm-hmm.
I've played franchise mode more than anything else on it every single year. So for me, like I love the idea of building something, and like Montreal is my favorite team. Like watching this rebuild, if you want to call it, like it's been awesome. And it's like, I made that trade. Not I made that trade, but like I've thought about that. Like I've just certain things like that, messing with the lineup. So like I'm just obsessed with the game, and I think that any sort of role at the NHL level, I'd probably love and excel at. But I think I really love coaching, like
Mm-hmm.
especially the developmental aspect of it. Like maybe getting in through player development or whatnot. But I also, I love to talk too. So the coaching aspect of it, maybe it's an assistant coach. I'm not sure, but I know that I for sure want to be in the NHL one day.
I love that. That's It's great that you say that and with such conviction. It's you have to be able to believe in yourself and have that confidence, and just be open to whatever, that next step is. Like, if you rewind a few months early this summer, spring, whenever those connections were made with Kessler, like, you didn't exactly know what this season was, and now this whole opportunity. And that's the nature of coaching. Like, until you're at a certain level, and even, I guess, even at those levels, like if you are in the NHL, like, you're bouncing around so frequently year after year that you have to just be open to that. So that's awesome that you have that. Are you is your interest on like the skill development side more than just like the game management side, or are you as interested in that side as well?
I think like if we're gonna break it in half, like you can call it 55-45. But it's also because I have more experience in the skill development part than I do the game management part, but I'm getting there. Not It's not equal, but I love managing the game on NHL, like, and people laugh, but it's partly, it's experience. It's not like anything crazy, but you're still in control of it, and you can view it however you want to view it, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, I think just because I have more experience in skill development, I think I lean more that way. But I also think there's one head coach on a team. You have a couple different skill guys, right? You have, whether it's works with the forwards in the power play, or, but
Mm-hmm.
just from an entry level spot, like honing in and keying in on one thing, being really good at one thing, maybe I lean more that way right now, at least.
Understood.
So,
Yeah,
but
you need
like
all of
Martin
it.
St. Louis, he's like that's dream spot. Whether it's pushing pucks for him for 10 years, and then, but like that's he's where I want to be for sure.
Yeah, no, I hear that. And I mean, he got criticized so much a couple years back whenever he made the jump from youth hockey to the NHL. And it's like,
Right,
yes,
incredible.
but he played in the NHL for a long time, and you don't need to play at that level to coach at that level. Like, you can coach well beyond where you've played. You're an example of that. I'm an example of that. But it all comes down, from my perspective, to exactly what you said initially whenever I asked you about coaching players that are better than you.
Mhm,
Is It's all about the relationship and how you're handling that. Like,
for sure.
when I was would have been uh 2019, so was like 23, um, and I was an assistant with U of M Dearborn, and there were a few guys on the team that were older than me or my exact age, and
Mhm.
it was the same thing. It's like, I'm coaching guys that are older than me, and you handle that obviously a little different than whenever I was coaching mini mites that were 6 years old, but some of those same principles are the same. You
Right.
treat them like humans. You work hard for them. You treat them with respect. They work hard for you, and you just build as you go. And you kind of tailor maybe the way you're explaining things, but ultimately, like, it's still the same stuff. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
that making those jumps are not impossible if you just grind it out and build over time. So,
Right. And then, John Cooper, that's another great example. And
100%.
you look at the way that they kind of talk and carry themselves, it might be viewed different or, a different sort of style, but it's also what resonates and kind of works, right? Like St. Louis had decent success in Montreal. Like
Hmm. Yeah,
he's
they're
been pretty
coming.
successful. Yeah, they are on their way for sure. But John Cooper too, like it's worked.
Hmm.
And you hear stories and people say what, but at the end of the day, when you win, who cares,
Solves all.
right? Right? Like they win or they have won and they continue to fight, but it's been a pretty good recipe the last couple of years that Cooper's installed, and it's also
Absolutely.
every level. Him, Bednar as well in Colorado, like they've climbed the ladder and they've also won at every level. So it's encouraging for sure.
So when you are looking at video within these teams, are you looking at just their team? Like, are you looking at just the Little Caesars players, or are you looking at NHL clips and trying to get examples of those concepts for these players as well?
I'd say it's 75-25. I personally like what work I would consider is 75-25. I watch more of our stuff than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we use TPE, which is just like phenomenal. Like they
Mm-hmm.
break down our games in 7 hours time. It's awesome. So I spend a lot of time on our stuff, all aspects of the game, special teams, up guys, down guys, whatever it might be. Um, some practice video as well too, like the skill development stuff that I do
Mm-hmm.
with them. um, Showing clips from games, showing practice clips, just so they understand, right? Like you never think you're doing a boat turn until you get 5 clips of you doing a boat turn and you see how dumb it looks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then you starting and stopping. That's my example because my dad did that with me. Like it's
Sure.
right. So for them to see it and they're open to the feedback, they want it, right? Like they all want to play at the next level and they're willing to do whatever it takes to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So makes my job easy, right? I can go to them with whatever, but keep it short, keep it sweet, and then let's go to work, and then
Mm-hmm.
recover, do your thing. We'll play some games and then we'll refocus. But there's certain things in the NHL that you watch and you pick up on that you just want to show them, right? Or you watch,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, like that. Let's do that. Let's, like instead of trying this face-off play, why not? Or even certain routes guys run, just little stuff like that. And I watch for that for the team and like to bring to the coaches, but I also watch for like certain skill stuff that I might have done and when it can be implemented. And then you grab that clip and hey, you watched the Wings game last night? Yeah, yeah, I did, right? Like our thing is like just cutting up in the ozone, like jab cut, whatever you want to call it, but right, drive down, cut back up, but get out of the hole, right? If you just cut back, the defenseman just has to stop and he's within stick. But if you cut
Mm-hmm.
up and get out of the hole, so grabbing NHL clips, showing the guys the separation, stuff like that is also kind of a big part of what I do. But like, I love doing that. Like, I'll watch, like, the nice thing about it, about TPE, is there's NHL stuff on it. So I can break it down the same as our games are broken down and it
Yep.
makes my life even easier. And it's, just nice to have access to games after the fact because you don't have that anywhere else. Like it's very hard. You have to have like a black market sort of website or access to
Yeah.
get like a full, NHL game, right?
Yeah, for sure. I find that watching college hockey and junior hockey is very valuable as well because there's certain things at the NHL that are pretty much just applicable for the NHL. Like there's the whole thing about how every level of play there's less mistakes that lead to a goal. So like if you look at let's say mini mite hockey, there are hundreds of mistakes on every single shift that lead to a goal. And
Yeah.
then say bantam hockey, maybe there's 50, and then top level high school like or top level AAA, maybe there's 20 or 10 or something, and that margin gets lower and lower, where to the fact when you're in NCAA Division 1, there's like 1 to 5 mistakes on a goal. And then in the NHL sometimes there's literally one mistake or nothing. The player is just so good that he just took advantage of that little thing. So for me, like I love watching college and junior hockey too, because that is more comparable to the high school level in certain ways, because the NHL, it's almost like they're just perfect sometimes. So when you were with Michigan State, what was that experience like watching video? Like, did you take a lot of what you've done with Little Caesars and your current coaching? Did you learn that from how you were breaking down video then?
So I never broke down video there. So I went in expecting to, but they had a software just like, Caesars that does it for them, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
technologies. I was fully ready and, happy to do it. Like I'll watch games full through all night. But they had a software that did it. So my job was to go more through the analytical part of the breakdown, make sure that each guy was the right guy, make sure, the result on face off, shot on goal, whatever it might have been is correct, the location of it, whatever. So when you go and get analytical reports and whatnot, all those numbers are accurate. During the game, the guy that I reported to tags, so he's doing most of it. But we scored a goal, maybe he's making sure it's not offside or whatever it might be, right? Like he misses stuff, so just going back through and making sure everything's correct, making sure what he has, or if he can't see the opposing guy's number that took the face off, I do it, right? Like it's not that big of a deal. But in game, it was all just video. So I'm literally holding the tripod, going back and forth. It feeds back up to the guy, Dan Sturges is who I reported to. He's tagging the game, and there was three other student managers that were kind of involved doing other stuff. And I would go in during the week, take care of the analytical part. Um, but in terms of what I did there compared to here, I wouldn't say it's as I there wasn't much that I took from that to Caesars. I think a big part of it was just like the experience and seeing how the coaches handled certain things that I took away because I didn't get to have I didn't have any involvement like from the coaching realm. Um and video wise, it was more making sure everything was good for the coaches. So I guess I would say like when I'm preparing for practice, so like this Monday, we were in Pittsburgh this weekend and all of our games are, downloaded, uploaded, whatever. So I went through a couple different playlists that we might watch before practice, right? Things that we weren't really great on the weekend. And then I'll also go through a handful of guys' shifts from every game. And just there's playlists for each guy. So when I get to the rink, if someone wants to go over video, we can go to video. But there's also guys where it's like, hey, come here. We're going to go over a couple clips. This was really good. This could be a little bit better. This was great. Right. So just and they know that. So when they get there, hey, can we go over video from last night? Yeah, absolutely. Let's go. Right. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's a big part of my role as well, is just the availability too.
Yeah. Do you have a like a job during the day, or are you in school still, or just focusing on
So
hockey?
I'm looking for a job during the day. It's um it's kind of difficult because so I went to Michigan State for 4 years, got a degree in economics, minor in business and resource management. So, I would love to use that degree to my advantage, but corporate America entry level, there's nobody's letting me out of the office at 1:30 to go to practice at 3.
Sure.
Right? It's like some days we practice at 3:30. I need to be there at least an hour early because we're gonna do video, and guys are good probably gonna want to meet. We're gonna have to go over practice. So,
Mhm.
this is what I want to do for a living. Like I'm going to coach in the NHL one day. I know that. Like I'm there's that's something that I've established, and like my parents are pretty lenient and open, knowing that like this is one of the best opportunities I'll really have. So, the early months at least, like I'm really digging to at least what I have available to me and making the most of this opportunity to set myself up for some success. But, I am thinking and trying to come up with a day job or, something to bring in some income for sure.
Dude, it's just a matter of balancing and finding the next thing. Like
Right.
if you have that opportunity in front of you, like it's for a period of time. Like this season will come and go,
Right.
and you have no idea what will come out of this season.
Right.
It's
Right.
like so I think that is great to really just bear down and focus on what's in front of you, because there's no rush for the next thing. Like
Right.
you started coaching so young, similar to how I was. So it's, you're most people start coaching after they're done with their college playing career or their pro playing career, like late 20s or 30s.
Right.
Um, and so the fact that you're doing this early, if from the coaching standpoint, you're ahead of the game already with all of it. So that's good stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have a like a way that you're watching hockey that you shift your brain? Like, are you looking at hockey where you're just like looking at it as a fan, and then you can be like, now I'm looking at it as a coach, like a different lens almost?
Yeah, so it's hard. I'm like even when I go to games with my friends, like I'm just even more dialed in because you watch more hockey on TV than you do like live
Mm-hmm.
if like obviously if you're not unless you're in the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
Um but it's kind of always coaching mode, but
Mm-hmm.
it's when it's Montreal, it's for sure fan like
Yeah.
always. But it's fan and coach, like you also think like I know most NHL rosters pretty well, so like special teams, certain, face-offs or just even situational stuff like, I wonder why so and so isn't out here, or, I like that, but I don't love that. Just like stuff like that I'll notice.
Sure.
Um but yeah, I'm usually always rooting for one team or another. Like I'm a big hockey fan. There's not many teams I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Um
What about the Leafs? You probably don't like the
I
Leafs, do
I
you?
was I was literally just gonna say I don't hate the Leafs.
Oh, really?
I've wanted it to work there for so long. There's so many good hockey players there. Like it hurts that it didn't work. I'm a Montreal fan and I would not have like, yeah, 67, it's awesome. It's so good. But I would have loved for the core four to get a Stanley Cup. Over
Mm-hmm.
Vegas for sure. For
Yeah.
sure over Vegas. Like I don't hate many teams. Vegas is there for sure.
Yeah. I
For
hear that.
sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try and keep it fan too, when I'm around other people just because it's like it's more enjoyable, like I'm not like that serious all the time and I don't want, it to be like, I can't watch a game with him. He's so serious. It's like it's
Yeah.
not that deep. It's really
Yeah.
not that deep. Unless it's like a
Right.
Montreal playoff game,
Yeah.
then we're.
Yeah.
But
Different story. Do you have players always have favorite players and that type of thing, guys that they're trying to mock, uh look at for inspiration of how they play. Do you have a favorite coach or favorite coaches that you're always listening to?
yeah, St. Louis. Like and it's I loved him as a player growing up. Like that was part of my graduation gift was like a throwback Tampa jersey signed,
Mhm.
like super cool. Um, but I've loved his journey like from the start. Like he's smaller, left-handed, like I was, kind
Yep.
of not like a pure goal scorer, but also not like a pure playmaker. Like he was a not hybrid, but like 40 assists, 25 goals sort of guy, or, way more than that, but you get where I'm going. And, I thought I tried to play the way he played with the responsibility that he played with. But when I was playing, for sure, Crosby was one, but like I've always, I shouldn't say always, but for a while I viewed myself as like a leader.
Mhm.
So Crosby applies, St. Louis applies. Like I viewed it as more of like leaders that like I kind of look up to. Like obviously like Patrick Kane when I was growing up, and Jonathan Tays and Datsuk, and but like now it's more of like leaders like Coach K from Duke,
Yep.
Nick Saban. And I'm not talking like Nick Saban 8-minute motivational video. Like, yeah, like the Instagram clips are great, but like they sit down with guys and they do interviews, and like the French ones are hard with St. Louis because he's fluent French. Like you have a
Yeah.
couple guys that get through Montreal that aren't like full French, but it's mostly French for him. So like subtitles. I'm learning French. I'm doing Duolingo, but
Mm.
like I'll get there one day, but I'm not fluent yet, so the subtitles help me out. But yeah,
Yeah.
just like leaders more than anything. I just think that's something that I pride myself on, and I think you never stop growing as a leader, no matter the level you're at.
Totally
I'm
agree.
trying to think of, I mean, other coaches, John Cooper, like
Yeah.
he's a guy who didn't play, started out in East Lansing too, funny enough, like
Yep.
that's super, when I found that out, I was like, that's pretty cool, sitting
Mhm.
in East Lansing and just, so that's pretty cool. Um, Other coaches, I like Jared Bednar, just the way that he's, climbed and won at every level. Like I talked to him at one of the NHL coaches conferences and just asked for like any advice for someone who hasn't played or had bunch of success coaching elsewhere, like just trying to get into it. And he's like be great at whatever level you're at, because overdo it and overstay your welcome at the level you're at, because if you rush you'll be gone from the next level before you know it. And that's kind of stuck with me. um and I
Yeah.
wouldn't say I've been in a position where I'm like, oh, like I can do more than this. Like, but I've always wanted to do more in a sense, right? Like playing double A was fun, and like maybe I could have made one of the lower end AAA teams, or been like a lower end guy on a AAA team. But my dad was, he coached the team at the time, and we were one of the better teams in Michigan, so there wasn't much of a reason to leave.
Mhm.
But like I had always wanted to live that life, and just kind of the grind that they have compared to the grind that it is double A. Um, because you always want to play in the NHL, right? Like
Sure.
that's the goal. And if you play triple A, you probably have a better chance of doing it. And
Mm.
so, but yeah, it was, I kind of rambled on there, but
No, it's all, there's a lot of stuff. You can tell you think about this stuff all the time. I'm the same way. I'll
yeah.
say, the coaching side, so for me, like as far as like just watching coaches and stuff. So when I first started coaching, it was the summer that Babcock was leaving Detroit and going to
Okay.
Toronto. So
Okay.
summer of 2015,
Yep.
and
Early core
Babcock
four
came.
days.
What's that?
Early core 4 days.
Yes, exactly. It was the very beginning of all that. Marner got drafted that summer. Matthews was the
Mm-hmm.
following, the whole thing. So um, that at that time, and obviously Babcock's reputation is totally different now than it was, 10 years ago.
Right.
At
Yeah.
that time, he was leaving Detroit. He was the most sought after coach. I mean, he got paid like $50 million to go to Toronto. It was like a
Insane.
8 year, like was 6.25 for 50. It was like 50 million or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, he was getting all kinds of extra attention, and I was just starting coaching. So because of the Detroit connection and then what he was doing with Toronto, I would literally every day for that whole like first 2-3 years he was in Toronto, I would watch every single interview he did. That was just part of my routine. Like I'd go on YouTube, and Toronto would post every press conference they did, because they did in Toronto, and same as Montreal, they do like a practice one, a pregame, a postgame, and I would watch every single one every day and just listen to the things he said. And it's different because you're hearing what he's saying to reporters, so it's not always like educational, but some of it was just like you're hearing the things, and so like you're learning it as you go, and that was part of my routine. And then years went by, and now everyone has all these bad things to say about him, but at the time that was not
Right.
the case. So
Yeah, yeah. I always loved them too. Like I grew up not like a non-Wings fan, but I've always
mhm,
been a Montreal fan. But like I always loved Babcock. And people are like,
yeah.
"Oh, like he's leaving, like whatever." He was a great coach, you know.
Find any player that talks about him, and a lot of them currently say how bad of a guy he was and how they don't like him as a person. Every single one says he's the most prepared coach they've ever been around. And I don't want anyone to say that I'm a bad guy, okay? But
Right.
if
Right.
someone says you are very prepared, that's one of the best compliments you can receive. So, as
100%.
someone
A
who is,
100%.
wants to do that, like if someone can say he was the most prepared, he was the most ready for every situation. So all those little things, it's so important. What was your youth career growing up as far as your coaches? Like, did you have coaches that really made you want to coach, or how'd you end up in this position?
Like I mean, my dad obviously like he never coached at a high level or anything, but he coached a little bit before coaching me and then coached me up until a certain age and then handed it off to Tim Washburn. And he had a really big influence on me in multiple areas of life, not just hockey, like off the ice, like really great role model for me. And, learned a lot of lessons and experienced a lot and got a lot of tough love from him that I needed for sure. I never, at that time and that age, I had still wanted to play at the next level. It had nothing to do with coaching. But I would say Paul Moretz was for sure the first coach where I was like, yeah, like, the impact he had on me, the impact he had on my brother, the impact he had on just our entire group and the program in 2 years. Like he was in and out, you know.
Mhm.
He was offered a better opportunity for not only himself but his family, and it was a no-brainer.
Mhm.
And there's not many people that don't like him after that, and there's a lot of people that could not like him, but the things he did, the way he handled a lot of situations, like all through COVID. We switched rinks after junior year into COVID. Like it was a mess. We practiced on Monday mornings, but it
Mm.
was it was
Before
one
school, you
week.
guys would skate?
Yeah, it was rough, rough.
Wow.
Like
Mm.
really, really bad timing to leave the locker room, like the sick locker room we had at Fraser. And the
Mm.
big rink. Like we had it good at Fraser. Skate on the big rink right after school. Had our own locker room, legit locker room too, not like some shoebox. And but nobody would be at games, right? Because it's a 25-minute drive from Grosse Pointe. Nobody came to games at Ash either, the east side, right? Like because we weren't good though. We weren't good. So a couple came junior year, and he was like, "All right, we should move back to Ash." Wasn't a bad idea, but then COVID.
Mhm.
There's one sheet at Ash, and you have South, North girls, South boys, and all your Grosse Pointe Bulldog teams. Obviously, your Bulldogs teams don't skate 3:30 to 5, but you have to get
Mhm.
a high school team. You have to get three high school teams in before 6 o'clock. Let's call it right 6:30, and then you
Mhm.
can do two. Your bull like it's pretty hard with one sheet. Oh, we had to bite the bullet if we wanted to skate 4 times a week. And granted, we had 5 days of ice at Fraser before. Like we took a step back of ice and to get to Ash. And no locker room at Ash, by the way. couldn't even
Mm,
use the locker room at Esch because of COVID and that whole gong show that it was.
right.
So yeah, Monday morning, 6 a.m. Character builders. I remember it like the back of my hand. It wasn't practice; it was character building. No other team in
Really?
the state, no other team in the state was doing it at the
Yeah,
time.
that's true.
Is what we were told.
Whatever keeps the team excited and motivated, that's good stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
If you're looking at, the social media side of things, I know we were just chatting a little bit before we got on here, and so much of what we've talked about has been like the video side. You're active on social media with your coaching side of things. Do you think that's valuable and important for players nowadays and coaches, and having that presence and watching those clips? Or what is your thought on social media as an educational tool?
yeah. I think it's great educationally. I think like obviously you you put your time and energy into what works for you and what will benefit you, and I think that you know an hour of screen time a day, like whatever you want to call the number, but if it's 80%, Instagram call it, and it's on SDI, right? You're scrolling through those clips and you're just watching hockey, like, okay, really? Is it that bad? You're a hockey player. You're
Right.
watching, you're learning. There's multiple different kind of ways you can look at it, but I think it's really it's a great tool. I think it can be misleading the social media aspect of it because you have
Mhm.
guys that just post highlights or guys that just post, Michigan goals and, backdoor one-timers and whatever not. But
Yep.
I think, something that I've started doing with my guys with Little Caesars is we'll get out there early if no one's on before us, and I'll set up the tripod and we'll work on whatever we're going to work on, and not only will the players have access to that if they want it, but I go through it not only like real time with them and show them reps and, footwork or whatever it might be, but break it down for them so they fully understand it. And then post it too if it's good enough or, there's whatnot. But just because it's informational and, I've been to a couple of the NHL coaches conferences and every coach says it's a copycat league, right? Like,
Mhm.
yeah, like there's some stuff I've created on my own, but part of the drill is probably something I've seen before, done before, right? And I have no problem giving people drills or books or, videos of, I mean, I'm not giving out my guys' skill videos and stuff like that, but like independent stuff that I do through PDD, like whatever, that's free range for whoever wants it. So,
Yeah.
I think it's good though because like I said earlier, like you don't know you're doing it or what it looks like until you see it yourself. And it's not like it's not a common resource for youth hockey players to have. Yeah, you can
Right.
go on Live Barn and that's fine, but like we really have it in a good spot where you have full control of it and you can show what you want to show when you want to show it. And, going back to the social media thing of it, like we say all the time, like nobody wants Instagram hockey players.
Yeah.
They just
Yep.
don't, right? Like if you're a hockey guy, you don't want an Instagram hockey player. And
Mhm.
you don't want to get that confused with, someone who spends a lot of time on Instagram. Like that's not what we're saying. People that look to make the plays that will get themselves on Instagram. Listen,
Mhm.
at the youth level, no, but there's no video that's gonna be watched where someone's be like, "Oh yeah, like what about this kid?"
Mhm.
They probably already know about him, right? Like
Mhm.
their play is talked about enough to where when that clip shows up on whatever scout's phone, it's like, "Oh, there's so and so," right?
Yep.
Like so, a big part of it is look at the skill, right? Take it from the NHL, if it is on Instagram or whatever you want to call it, right? The highlight reel goal, break down the whole goal because it probably didn't start when the guy toe dragged between the other defensemen. Probably
Mhm.
started in the D zone where the centerman was really good on, supporting the puck or whatever it might be. And then that's when the good stuff happens. When you do all the right little things before that, there's your reward, right? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
the toe drag worked. I hate that it worked. You're not going to do it again,
Yep.
but you did all the
Yep.
right things before that, right? So there's multiple ways that you can look at it and implement it, I think. And I think that it's there's a certain age to where it's the right time to do it. I think there's people that buy live barn for their team to show video, and it's an AAU team that can't play full ice games, playing full ice games, right? Like
Yeah.
these kids are like, you're better off showing them NHL clips and just having them be like, oh my God,
Mm-hmm.
Larkin, Raymond, right? Like
Right.
that's you're too young. I don't know the perfect age for it, but it's I think it's a non-negotiable in terms of development and stuff like that.
For sure. Yeah. No, it's so true. It's there's a balance of, the types of clips. There's certain clips that are just supposed to be those fun highlights that are supposed to, be like Datsuk's dangles when I was a kid that make you want to go stick handle outside, and then there's also things that are just like hockey IQ things that are probably more of the what you should be watching, that is the non-Instagram hockey player, as you mentioned. So, yeah, I totally agree on all that. Um, Last couple here, just touch a little bit more on PDD. I know that you've done this for a few years, and you said that you've had players of different levels and ages, and you said that you've had guys that are like junior and college players. But what is that experience been like over the last few years working with those guys, especially in the summer?
So it's been awesome. Like it's been different, obviously, because it's usually me as a player working with the coach. But it's been really great. Like the first summer, my brother was going into his senior year of high school, so all of his buddies worked with me. Um, you know, it was tough early on, like when I got because when you're done with school, when you're at college, like when school gets out. Sorry, I can't talk right now, but like there's a big period between when everyone else gets out of school, right? So I'm looking to make money. Like this is my job now, so I'm looking to make money. Not many kids are wanting to skate like early June. My brother is,
Mm-hmm.
a couple of my buddies that are home from junior are, but like nothing crazy. So you're losing money a little bit on skates and whatnot. But I knew big picture would be fine. It really started. The plan was to just do a 1 week camp. So just like do a camp, see how it goes, whatever. And my dad kind of was like, just do it full time. Like, why not just go after it and just kind of have it? Like, regardless of what you want to do after, like, you'll have it,
Mm-hmm.
worst case. So, kind of built it out a little bit more, had more skates than just that 1 week camp. A lot of my brother and, all of his buddies would skate with me. So that was huge. Um, it was I knew how important the social media aspect of it was early on, but I just wasn't going to be on my phone the whole skate. That was part of the thing too. Like I wanted to do a good job working with these guys so they would come back again and they would see results in what we do. So like, we were just talking about video. It wasn't much of that early on. Like it was
Mm-hmm.
more just hammering away at certain things, and it's easy to tell players deficiencies. Like I have an easy time, and strengths too, but you watch a guy and you're like, they really need to work on that. So for me, like that was awesome, getting on the ice with a small group and just like reps, 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 reps. But as the skates grew, you're learning to tailor a skate to where there's guys going out of both ends, and you've got junior guys at one end that can kind of do their own thing. They just need the drills to do, right? Give them a couple drills, they can kind of do it for them, do it
Mm-hmm.
themselves. If they have questions, they'll ask you. Younger group, you got to keep an eye on them, right? So I wouldn't really have a limit for high school and juniors and up from there, but I would for younger groups, just because skill level, attention to detail, like it's just different. The maturity, all of it, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's also for their own sake too. Like their parents know it, like they don't want Timmy out there with 15 of his teammates for a skill skate that they're paying, X amount of dollars for. They
Right.
want a small group that's going to get a good coaching ratio, and their money's worth. So that was my biggest thing, was the product I was producing first. And then the next year, I'd say after I I grew a little bit in terms of a following. I started to do more social media stuff, in including like junior year of college. I started to grab some NHL stuff, kind honestly copying you guys, and what you guys do. Like, because one, it got you a following, but two, you can use that caption to teach.
Yep.
And I couldn't figure it out then. I still can't figure it out now, but you can even talk over the video and teach too, right?
Yeah.
So just those aspects that I had wanted to get into is what I started to do at school, because I couldn't run skates at school. I didn't even have a car junior year, so that's car at school junior year. That's why, I would just try and grab NHL stuff, and whether it was a screen record off of Twitter or the
Mm-hmm.
NHL app, because the goal was up to the highlights. Like, there wasn't a ton to pick from, but if you grab a large enough clip, you could break it down like we were talking about earlier. Like, and it kind I mean, if you want to, you'll figure it out, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of broadened the audience a bit, and then that summer we had the guys come in from Nashville for the first time, and it was great. Like, I have a solid group of 15-ish upper end high school and junior players that skate together throughout the summer. And then adding the 8 of them to the mix was just awesome. It made for like solid numbers throughout the week, get 2 goalies for the week, and it was just one skate a day and a workout, like literally just one workout.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't a ton, but it was also just like I didn't want to kill them. But looking back on it, I should have. Like, the guys that I had help me are guys that played at the next level, and I don't know what a junior summer training program looks like, or what it needs to look like. I have ideas, so I'm running the skates how I think I should. But some of them, like, you could it could be a little bit harder. Like, they could work out more, just other things like that
Sure.
that I don't know of, that I'm appreciative of, and that's why I have them helping me. Um, so, like, adjusting to that, and then that's 50 minutes that week of camp, and then it's middle schoolers who aren't going bar down every time, so it's slowing everything down, it's changing the whole layout of the skate. Like, just all of that has been, it's good to get experience with, because yeah, you can plan for it, but like, you plan for it and then you have something else go on in between, and then you get back to that plan. You know exactly what I'm talking about, but
That's
it's
it.
not, you have to stay on top of it.
Yeah. And with the younger guys, a lot of times you're doing more of like, you know, managing and babysitting in a sense
Yes.
at times too, which is
Yeah.
just kind of comes with it naturally. If you're going to be a coach and be around kids and players, then you have to be able to, discipline within reason.
Right.
No, all that stuff is so important. I mean, we've watched your stuff on Instagram and everything for years. I mean, this was set up through an Instagram DM. So,
Right.
we've seen each other's stuff, and that's awesome. So, for me, like, it just your Little Caesar stuff that you've been posting and all your other random NHL clips are so valuable, because it's just another resource, and we're all trying to learn from different things. So, if
Exactly.
you post something and you and someone sees it and they're like, all right, well, I want to try that, but tweak it a little bit. That's probably, like you said, what you did with when you watch someone else, and that's what I did when I watched
Exactly.
someone else, and that's just how it goes. So, you have to be able to kind of filter what you're taking, but you have to, you can't just think everything. Some of this stuff is like,
100%.
we're not the smartest ones, and you're never a finished product. So it's like,
No.
learn from others. So,
Right.
um
100%.
what do you
100%.
have? You've mentioned a lot of people throughout this, as far as different coaches and guys that coached you, guys that you've been coaching with, other players and things. But do you have anyone on this that you feel is worthwhile of an extra shout out, or anything like that here?
Yeah, I mean, my parents first. I think it's kind of a no-brainer. Like, extremely grateful for them. Even, the tough love, like, you realize it one day, right? Like, it all comes full circle, and you realize that, like, it's their first time living life too, right? So, like, fuck, you can't, right? You can only be grateful for them. and just how supportive they've been.
Mm-hmm.
My brother too, like he's half of PDD. If I'm being honest, like since
Yeah.
he's graduated high school, like he's done all of my video and a lot of my social media, designed countless things. He just designed something for Little Caesars team. Like he's been incredible, and you know the work he does is like beyond. I know that the work he does for me is also like his own advertisement, but he really does care a lot about what he does. And I know I was a bit of a help to his start, but he was the gas poured onto the fire that I had just barely started, I guess you could
Mm-hmm.
say.
No, that's a great way to
Um,
put it.
yeah. So then Paul Moretz, I mentioned him countless times. Like he really helped me as like a player, but also as a leader. Like there were the team we had my junior year would not have been as successful as it was if we didn't establish the culture and the leadership that we did. And I think that taught me a lot just about life. As bad as I wanted to just focus on myself and in the way that I want to play and look in front of certain scouts and stuff, like it that doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Like you're part of something bigger than yourself, and he helped me realize that. That was a really big part of what I took away from my high school experience. And he's a mentor of mine, something that I can go to whenever to ask about anything. It's actually funny. He gave me a book to read when he told me that I was going to be captain junior year, and I actually just gave it to Griff like 2 weeks ago when we told him.
Really
So yeah,
nice.
full circle, moment. But just
What book is it?
it it's it's called "You Win in the Locker Room First." John
Nice.
Gordon wrote it. So John Gordon, I've got another book circulating through the team. It's called The Energy Bus. He's got a lot of good team oriented books. He's worked with Clemson and Duke and handfuls of other successful programs around the world. But yeah, Paul Moretz gave me that book, and he was great with my brother too. Like just a great man, great family. Um, Ryan Kessler has had a tremendous impact. I've known him for 2.5, 3 months now. Him
Mm-hmm.
and Alex, honestly, the whole coaching staff's been incredible, but just being around the two of them and just soaking up what they have, even if it's just stories, like they're hilarious. Like I've never laughed this much in a 3 month span, and it's been like better than I could have ever imagined. But they also hold me, accountable in knowing that I want to coach in the NHL one day, and they've seen enough NHL coaches, and Tangs knows it, right? He is one, so
Mm-hmm.
it's the best spot to be, but it's also for my own development and that stuff, not just for the fun, like my own growth. Like it's perfect because they're honest and open, and I don't have any restriction, you know
It's
do,
awesome.
do what I think's best for the team, and they've been really great in terms of just kind of letting me do what I think adds the most value. Like, and prior to this, I probably didn't have the same sort of confidence or just kind of feeling going into an opportunity where like you're that much lesser in terms of experience.
Sure.
Like I did that at Michigan State, but I just didn't the on hands and the work that I did at Michigan State was nowhere near what I'm doing with Caesars and the involvement and that stuff. So it's hard to relate the two. But like with Caesars, it's been, there's been no restriction really, which has been really awesome.
Yeah. Super valuable. I mean, for
Yeah.
you, for the team too. If you're working hard for the team, like that's good stuff because it's a different voice and it's a different perspective. Like
Yeah.
there's something very valuable about not listening to the same person every single moment of every day, even if that
100%.
person you're listening to is incredibly smart and knows what they're talking about. there are so many times just a little twist of who you're listening to can be an if even if that person just an echo of what they're hearing from the top guy or the coach or the captain or whatever, that's super important to be able to listen to multiple people and have that reinforced. So that's very valuable. And I'm sure, like being a young coach, like these guys are looking at you as a role model and more than just, the drills. Like the drills are good, I'm sure, but
Yeah,
the just the way you're handling yourself is going to be something they think about more often or
for
longer than that part. So
for
that's all
sure,
really
for
cool.
sure. And like the group of kids is they're truly awesome. Like there's going into it, people be like, "Oh, like be careful." Like there's a lot. I'm like, I'm not worried because you see it at the highest level. Like we watch all those pre and post game interviews, and you watch the in the locker room speeches after, and just the way that these guys interact. The best of the best. There isn't like the side eye to the new guy. Like they're like
Hmm.
you know once, like we talked about earlier, once you establish relationships and work your way into it, it's like welcome to the family. Nothing's changed. You go about your business, I'll go about mine, and let's
Right.
do this thing, right? Like, it's just kind of how dudes work, right? Like,
Hmm.
so it's been a great experience, and I'm really thankful for them too. Like just the 2.5 months we've had, like they've it. I laugh a ton with them too. Like it's the coaches are
Yep.
hilarious, but so are the kids. Like it's the experience it's been top notch and something that like I'll forever remember for sure. And yeah,
That's important. I mean, it sounds like it's going well for you, and it's late September, and the fun will be just ultimately just getting started. It's
yeah,
September's a good part of the year because you're excited because it's new, but we're all in it for the long run. So hopefully
for
this is
sure.
a 7 month, 8 month thing for you, and
Yeah,
end of March, early April, there's some big games being played with you guys in it. So.
yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Cool. Well, this has been good. I appreciate your time here, and it's nice hearing a coaching perspective on things and a young coach and all that because I can relate to a ton of what you're experiencing. So
For
it's awesome.
sure. Yeah, it's nice. Like, yeah, it's for a podcast, but it's also just nice to have the conversation. Like,
Absolutely.
like, um, I think it's kind of frowned upon in today's age. I think we're getting there as a society in terms of like, hey, good job, man. Right?
Yep.
Like I think this is part of what the hockey world needs more of, and I think it's getting there too. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really cool. You see like John. You know who John Boy is?
No.
He like does these like voice recordings over MLB clips. It's stupid, but
Okay.
they have a podcast. I'm pretty sure it's him every day with Aaron Boone, or like
Mm.
multiple days a week. And they're just like normal guys. I'm not sure they're even employed by the Yankees, but they
Yeah.
might be like New York podcasters that maybe have a connection. But it's just like, not like brings him down a level, but it's just he's a normal guy, right? Like my
Mm-hmm.
dad said, he said to me the first year we went to the coaches conference, he's like, "Dude, these guys put their pants on the same way you do every morning. Like, there's,
It's all same.
like, right? So it's just a perspective thing. That's been a big learning lesson too. So
I will completely emphasize that you have to look at people as just people, regardless of how famous or wealthy or successful they are. They're just
right,
people, and
right, and they
you
don't
have
want
to
to be
realize that.
viewed differently. They don't want to be
No,
viewed
no,
differently, even though
yeah,
your mind thinks it.
yeah, and you can't be intimidated by that. You got to just be you and be the best you can be, and you
Yeah,
use it to drive you. Like if you're looking at other coaches and stuff that have coached at a higher level, then outwork them and be better, and
right,
you can beat them too.
right,
That's how it
100%,
goes.
hundred
Nice.
percent.
Well, this is awesome. I appreciate your time here, and I wish you the best of luck this season. Thank you very
Yeah, of
much.
course. Thank you. Of course. Thank you for having me.